Hey everyone, Antonio Garcia here with the Cozy Book Nook. I am here with author Rochelle Bradley. We're going to talk about some of her work. We're going to talk about some of her upcoming projects, and we're going to talk about how she got into writing and some of her passions. So, thank you for joining us, and let's get into it.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. All right, welcome back. So we are here with Rochelle Bradley. Hi, Rochelle.
Hello.
I've known Rochelle for a little bit of time now, probably about a year or so.
Yep.
She came, I think I met you at one of the vendor events I was doing. She came out to my booth and mentioned
I was very
that
excited to see another author.
she was very excited, but she does not realize the like how she changed my life at that point. Being an indie author myself, I mostly sold online, and I wasn't really selling a lot of books. So what I did, I kind of moved into doing vendor events, which really kind of worked out. But really, when I met Rochelle, she just started introducing me to all these writer groups and local authors. Introduced me to them. Leah, um, Leah, and just getting to meet all these and Tim and all these different authors, and it kind of expanded me in my reaching out and hearing about all these other stories and networking with all these other authors. It was kind of opened a lot of doors for me, and honestly, that's one of the reasons why we had like the bookstore going and kind of moved forward, kind of grew into this, grew into actually indie bookstore focusing on indie authors. So thank you for that.
Hey, no problem.
So let's talk a little bit about. Let's start with your writing journey. Let's kind of talk about like how you got into writing. Have you always been in writing since school or anything, or?
I've been a creative all my life. I was more of an artist than, and I went into interior design. But I always was creating stories. But as a child, I was more acting them out than putting them on paper. And instead of reading, I mean, I did read, but it was more. I was more an outdoorsy kind of kid. Scrape knees and climbing trees. That's what I did. But when I came to high school and college, I had a notebook that I just passed around to all my friends, and we would write one line of a story. So it was an accumulative story. We actually do that for National Novel Writing Month at the first kickoff party. We pass the book around, and everybody adds a line to the story, and it's hilarious. But that's what I really, looking back, that's when I started being more actual physical, writing things down instead of just, drawing or. And then when my son, I had these what I call epic dreams. They're like movies in my head, and I have instant recall with them. It's like my superpower, um, and it's people I don't know. So I'm in the head of somebody I don't know. These are not memories. And sometimes it's a man's perspective, and sometimes it's a woman's, usually a woman, but sometimes it's a man. So I see their life, and whatever the story is, a scenario, they, if I don't have the end is implied. So I have all these things in my head, and then I have two children. When the second one went to kindergarten, I was a stay-at-home mom. I had a little bit of free time, and I decided this one story would not leave my head. I kept thinking about it and thinking about it. It was distractingly, you know how writing, when you get the urge to write, it's obsessive. But I didn't know that's what that was.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, well, I'm going to sit down and write this story. So I don't know how to write a story. So I went to the library, and this is funny. Went to the library and think, oh, I'm just going to get a book on how to write a book, right? Walk in, and they have a whole section, like shelves and shelves and shelves.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at it, I was overwhelmed, and I walked out, and I did not have a book. It was too overwhelming. And the same thing with the Google search, or any kind of online search, how to write a book. You get so many different. There's different opinions, right? Yeah. And different ways you can do it. There's no wrong way to do it. Everybody has to find their own process.
I didn't realize that till
right
after you've been doing it for a while.
So what I did was I had Word on my computer, and I opened a Word doc for each chapter, because I didn't know, Google Docs or whatever. I didn't know all these different kind of writing processors like Scrivener or whatever. And I just started writing, and I wrote 80,000 words in an average of 6 weeks. But it was total 8 weeks, but we had Hurricane Ike. We lost power for 9 days, and I didn't have my computer. So it was basically, and I didn't know that was good or bad.
And if you're not a writer, that's exceptionally good. Even if you are a writer, that's exceptionally good. So, in case you're wondering, is 8,000 words a lot in my time?
An average novel is between 50 and 100,000, especially romance, about 70,000. So yeah, I had, and that was a romance. That's the one that's under the bed, which is another thing. It's basically your first one. You're cutting your teeth on writing. It's very bad. The story is good, but the writing is horrid. I have learned so much since all these years. That was 2008.
Wow.
So it's been a while. But I was introduced to National Novel Writing Month, which is NaNoWriMo, right before it started in November that year. So I wrote another 50,000 plus words.
For that?
Yeah, for NaNoWriMo.
Wow.
Yeah, it was 52,000 words. And then I pushed through to December to get it done because my grandmother was living at that time. She was 90 something. And what do you get a 90-year? She loves to read. So I just pushed through and I printed out, took it to Kinko when Kinko existed, and had it printed for her. It was horrid because it hadn't been edited at all. But that, she loved it because, what do you get a 90? They always give you a backer. They say they don't need anything. So.
Yeah.
So that was the beginning.
Something but a story.
Yeah.
Especially you said 90,000 words.
Oh, that one was like 50.
50, but still, that's
right.
Very impressive. I mean, all my family's already watching this. Like, it's like that to me or a special story written specifically for them.
Well, it wasn't written specifically for her. She reads everything, or she read everything, but she would, if you give her, necklace or whatever, something, she would usually re-gift it because she didn't need it or she forget. So, so that's how my writing journey came. I got involved with National Novel Writing Month, and then eventually I did it at home, because I joined the Dayton region, but I never really went to any events or got involved in the community until a few years later, because a lot of authors, a lot of writers are introverts. So, but at the same time, we're a community, and you just need people who kind of get your process and, have somebody to talk to. It's, so National Novel Writing Month is great for that. It's every November. I don't know the future of Nano at this point, but I became a municipal liaison for the Dayton region in 2015. I've been doing it until this year. I'm going to retire just because I've been doing it for so long, and now I'm focusing on my personal career as an author.
Yeah.
But since Nano spoken to me as an author, and that helped me find my tribe. Really, everybody I know, or everything I've experienced as a writer after joining Nano is because of Nano, because I had the courage to put myself out there, go to writing conventions, go to book signings. Just it defined who I was. Like, I thought I was writing women's fiction. Well, one of these people who was kind of a mentor to me, she said, "No, you have happily ever afters. You're writing romance." And I'm like, "Oh, I do have happily ever afters." And that's what defines a romance. You have a happily for now or a happily ever after. And that's what my stories are. So if it wasn't for that, I'd still be maybe in my little cave writing in the evening, or my son's in college now, so I wouldn't have to worry about nap time. But
and you've done some pretty big events. I know you just got back from Colorado. You've got was it Readers and Dancers?
Authors and Dancers Against Cancer. That was in Toledo. That's every other year. There's one in Columbus. It's called Beyond the Read, and they break it down and call it Bray. They're all over.
Yeah, you travel to get your book out there to signed, which is pretty impressive. I think as an author, if you're an author watching this, goals is to be able to go out there and do book signing, be able to meet readers and to get your books in the hands of strangers. I mean, when you write a book, a lot of times it's family and friends, they're your initial supporters, but even them after a while kind of fall off. But it's really something special when you start having complete strangers coming up and wanting to sign their book and they want to know what your book is about and stuff. And now you're going to get a larger audience, which is really cool. You're in that stage, which is nice to kind of make that next step up.
That's one thing I would suggest if you're a newer author or one who hasn't gone out to events. I mean, there's different levels of events. Like there's little bookstores like this that support you. There's also library events. There's also bigger store events like this Half Price Books or Barnes & Noble or that kind of thing. If you're local, you can get into them usually. There's also local big events that are genre specific. Like if you write sci-fi or whatever, you can go to different cons. You write romance, there's romance cons. There's all these different events that are genre specific.
And yeah, it's really nice being able to go out and like just meet the people out there, get the books in their hands. So I know how many books you got now?
Almost 20.
Almost 20.
Yeah, I've got several series. I've got 7 in the Fortuna, Texas series. This is a new series here. It's the Learning to Love Again series, and there will be a total of 4 in that series. I got a prequel, and then so 2 are out in that. And then I've got Dragons of Ellechor, which is a fairy tale retelling series with dragon shifters. I've got 2 in that series. I've got a 5-book series. I've only got the first book out with my co-author, C.J. Warrant. And so I write romantic comedy to paranormal romance to romantic mystery. So I've got a little bit of everything.
Nice. And I think we were talking earlier, you have something come out tomorrow?
Oh yeah, so that's it's a spin-off for my Fortuna, Texas series, which is a romantic comedy. The spin-off, in the series, the men are dared to read romance books, and one of the guys gets hooked, and he started daring all the other men to read the books. So they start forming book clubs. And this is a spin-off series of the men who are reading the romance books. So this is the second in the series. The first one is Brad. The second is Canon. And it was really fun to write that. I didn't know how I would write 6 personalities of men. And I have got a 60-plus-year-old all the way down to a 25-year-old. And so there's divorce, there's widow, there's single, there's married. There was all these different, personas. Some have kids. One has an adult kid. One has a toddler. And then there's these single guys. It was I thought, well, this is going to be very interesting to keep them distinct on the page because and I'm not a man, right?
Right.
So keeping their voices distinct on the page. And when I started writing it, and they were at this camp out where they got to pick their new books, and they just came alive on the page, and they were so fun to write. They have so much chemistry, bromance on the page, they're really fun to write. So I enjoy that series. I've already written the 3rd in the series, about 3/4 of it.
Wow.
So there'll be another 3. So there'll be 5 total in that series because I've already written the other guys.
Now, before I go on to my next question, I do want to mention real quick that Rochelle will be here at the Cozy Book Nook on June 18th. It's Tuesday, 5:30 to 8:30, 5:30 to 7:30. She'll be doing a book signing. So she'll have all of her books here. Make sure you visit our website. I'll also have a link below that will have a link to her indie page on our online store where you can pre-order books. Pretty much all the books you can pre-order, so that way when you get here, they got a book set aside for you to sign. So we're looking forward to having her here for a book signing on that. So, quick question. So, when you do your writing, how do you do? Do you do like an outline, or do you just?
I am a pantser. I usually, like I said, I have a dream, and then the dream is basically the outline I use. So I have, sometimes the characters do their own thing and they take over and stuff, but for the most part, it's a basic, and also it's a romance. So, they have a happily ever after. So there's always that goal I have to reach. But no, I'm kind of a planter. I have a basic things I gotta hit, but the traveling there and figuring it out, I kind of let the characters write the story.
Yeah, that's kind of how I write too. It's neat. I tell people like I'm watching a movie.
Right.
I'm just writing down what I see.
And it's surprising because, like I'll pull up as an example Cole, who is the second in my Fortuna Texas series. He is a shy cowboy. He's a cancer survivor. And I knew he worked on a ranch. And so I knew he played guitar. And, this is one of his things. That's how his, as a man, his father was an alcoholic and left them. And his goal as a man was to be a better man than his father. And that included playing guitar because his father played guitar. And so as I was writing a scene where he was playing guitar, he started playing classical guitar, and I did not plan that. That surprised me. It's like it just came on the page, and it was really neat. Characters sometimes write themselves. They become alive. They are children, but sometimes they surprise us, and that was one that really stuck out in my head because, I don't know anybody who plays classical guitar. It's just a bizarre thing that he's a cowboy. He plays. You think country music or whatever, but no, he plays it all.
That's neat though. That just kind of came to me like, oh my god, that's a part of his character, and now I'm revealing it. It's pretty cool. Now you're right, mainly romance, but in romance, there's different genres. I struggle with different kind of genres. I write a lot of horror, sci-fi, but it's uplifting, some mystery, but I struggle when it comes to writing like a comedy or it comes to even romance. When writing romance into your book, no matter what the genre is there any like tips or tricks or anything you recommend that make it sound more, I don't know, more fluid, more realistic?
Well, for me, I try to do like a little character profile to get to know my characters. And for me, also the humor aspect of it is I try to keep it real. Like it's not all like Fabio or whatever. Um, I'm really good at dialogue. That is my strength, and that's where my humor, the witty banter, comes in. For writing romance, no, the characters have to have a bit of chemistry, and they also have a bit of friction. It's almost like you have to have that bit of realism in it, or it's not believable. If your character, like the hero, is 100% shining knight in shining armor, then he's not believable. You got to have that kink in his armor.
Right.
Same with the lady or whoever the romantic person is. You can't have that person be all butterflies and unicorns. There's got to be something that makes them relatable and likable, and but also human. So they have to have some kind of quirk or like something that makes them real.
Very nice. Now, when she comes, she will be, I think we're going to shoot for Brad or Cannon for a book club kickoff. So if you want to be a part of that book club, get online and buy a copy of Cannon or Brad. When you come to book signing, pretty much kind of gauge to see which one sold the most of, or even if we got an even number of people want to kind of split off and do a book club. She will be help assisting with that. So when she comes to the book signing on the 18th, not only will you be able to purchase a signed copy of her book, but you'll also be able to kind of group together with the others that bought the same book and split off for about maybe 8 to 13 weeks. We'll kind of sit up there after talking about it, and then we'll have Rochelle come back either virtually or in person, and she'll do a Q&A and kind of talk about her book a little bit. See. If you finished, if you have any questions about stuff. So that's one of the unique things we're looking forward to doing here at the Cozy Book Nook. I just have book signings for indie authors or any authors come in and just do a book signing and disappear. But we really want to build this relationship between authors and readers. So this would be a good opportunity to come out to meet Rochelle, get to know her story as a person, but also her stories in her books, and meet her characters, and read them and bring them to life, and she'll actually be able to give you some more of the background on her. So, Rochelle, thank you so much for coming. We're excited about having you here. She's going to be our first author on June 18th to do a book signing. It's kind of how I wanted to do it because she was so influential on me we get into the networking scene and meeting other authors and these writing groups and really kind of opening the Cozy Book Nook and kind of going for that niche. So thank you so much for everything you've done for me and for the bookstore, and we look forward to seeing you on June 18th.
I'm going to say that y'all come out and check this place out and support Tony. Buy his book. He's a great writer.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention I'm an author too. Don't worry, I put my little blurb in there somewhere. But yeah, with, me and Leslie will
right here. But he's doing wonderful things for the Dayton author community, and come out and support. We got to support each other.
Yep. So. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to do that. We're going to get indie authors in here with their books. We're at the bookstore, so we encourage other bookstores to do the same. I know several other bookstores do, but we really want to kind of raise the bar a little bit. So, again, thank you so much for coming, Rochelle. So nice to have you here. If you have any questions for Rochelle, feel free to leave them in the comment below, and then we'll print those out and blast her with a bunch of questions on her book signing day. But we're looking forward to having a fun event. Buy me some wine involved. So stop by, get a copy of her book, pre-order. Like I said, the link below. So we look forward to seeing you on June 18th. And thanks so much for coming. You guys have a great week, and stay in touch. Make sure you follow us on all our social medias. I'll have all of her links in the description below. So make sure you check out all of her different works that she's currently working on, or where you can find her books at. And of course, follow us and like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Thank you so much for joining us.
Bye.